What's this little red box here? I keep looking at that.
This one here?
Yeah.
That's actually, that was a set of Schuko models.
That's
out
pretty
of Germany
cool
also.
So the middle one is that three-wheel car, correct?
Yeah, the Isetta.
Yes, you see
Yep.
those. That's I think cousin It drove one of those. In
Okay.
the Adams family.
Yeah.
I believe. That's pretty awesome. So you have a lot of great cars here. Now these are the same thing. They're all the way back into the 50s up to the present day, as far as timelines.
Yeah, probably some go back into the 50s. Yeah, well, these probably go back into the 40s. These are old Tootsie Toys.
Now you guys have toys here too. So you guys, I see some drones, some helicopters.
Yeah, a little bit of RC here.
Nice.
Puzzles, games. Even though our specialty is the diecast, we get a lot of people stopping in looking for general type hobby.
Well, the RC works really well with this as well, right? You know, and what's the erase? That looks pretty awesome. Like that wing. Is it like a drone? Just a plane?
Just a plane.
Wow, that's awesome. So, and then does that extend on the other side here? This little section here?
This is again goes into more diecast. So you've got
oh wow,
the Earl brand here.
Oh, it's awesome.
Toledo, we get James Bond and Batman.
Nice. You know what's great when, and I told you this when I first walked in, like you can't get your head around what's in here until you get in. You gotta see it.
It's yeah, we have quite a selection here.
So the military vehicles, when I was a kid, like I'd had the Guns N' Navarone set and Desert Fox and all the Mattel play sets, and you know this kind of is the real deal. You know, because the tanks were terrible, the detail was, you know, they were molded and they're
marks were one piece tanks and things like that.
There'd still be like scraps of plastic hanging off because they didn't burnish it off. But these are awesome, these military vehicles that you have here. Now, same thing, is there a certain amount of companies that have went out of business and you've collected the stock?
Yeah, again, probably almost everything in here is all discontinued again.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah, this Toledo brand here that was out of France, they were very popular in the 60s and 70s. That's kind of what I grew up with too.
But I mean, the detail on them is fantastic. And these were essentially at that time, these were toys, right? Some of these. I mean, not like the top ones look like there's more detail and they're fragile. But some of these were actually like the ones.
They were one of the first companies to use metal tracks on their vehicles.
Wow.
And they actually worked very well.
And this must be a huge collector's market, right? I mean, this extends, the interest level is not only just military people.
The interest level on the military seems to go in waves. It goes up and down over time. Yeah.
I wonder if that's wartime or not wartime.
Yeah, I really haven't figured it out, you know, because it doesn't seem to follow a particular reason, but...
Wow. So, and I see more of this Code 3. Then that was the same brand that you had on the floor in front of the window, right?
Yep. They were actually a big manufacturer. They brought out a lot of stuff.
And then in here you have your police cars.
Yeah.
Same thing, all different scales, years, models, companies, right? Wow.
All different police departments.
Okay, and then over here, this is one of the, like, this is just mind-blowing if you're into this. It's honestly, you almost want to charge, you know.
Some people say it's a museum when they come in here and they'll spend hours.
It really is.
And again, it's stuff that's maybe 30 years or so old, and then up to something that's brand new.
Oh, it's amazing. And so you have them all broken up into categories. So the first case here is our emergency vehicle case, I see, pretty much, from stem to stern.
Yeah.
And then you have your construction vehicles here. Now, when I first met you guys, you had said that the construction vehicles were a big one for you guys. Right?
Yes.
And is that your primary specialty to a degree now?
That's our specialty. It's kind of how we got started as a business, was into the construction machinery models.
Okay. And these are, I mean, amazing. So I'm a Tonka truck kid, and these are the like creme de la creme of that type of thing. I mean, these really work.
Yeah.
And they're really authentic in every way, right?
Yeah.
They're complete scale models.
Really kicked off in the late 60s. early 70s,
Right.
when a couple of companies out of Germany started producing them for companies like Caterpillar or Liebherr. So they were making them as promotionals.
I see.
The
So if I had like a contracting company, they might throw me one of these.
Right.
You spend $300,000 on a vehicle, and they give you a die-cast, right?
Diecast model of it. Yep.
We'll throw this in. Right.
Or the one model they would it was a bigger model, and it came apart with some screws.
Okay.
So they would give the salesman the one part, and he would give that to their when they visited a client. They give them just the front end or something, and they said, well, when we come back again, we'll give you another
the
part.
other piece.
Yeah. So that would give them an in to come back a couple more times.
Are another thing I wouldn't really have thought of, but there you are.
Yeah, it's both vintage and modern buses. Again, there was some from the Corgi brand, some are European from
Right.
companies.
But again, you know what's awesome about this for a Father's Day gift? I mean, think about how many different careers you have here. You have your emergency vehicles, right, for firefighters and EMTs, and you have your police vehicles. You have buses, and you have construction vehicles, and just antique cars. So really, there's something for almost every interest in a lot of blue collar vocations in here.
Right.
And then what are these actually?
This is our specialty crane case, which is all types of cranes.
Wow. Awesome. And then behind you, I love how you guys got, but you know what's awesome is that you have this many. I wonder if you guys are an anomaly, not only here, but maybe in this country, maybe even in the world.
Kind of in the world now. There was a shop I visited probably 30 some years ago in Rotterdam, in the Netherlands, and they were kind of like this a little bit. A little smaller and multi-floor, and but he would cram everything in there like this too. And
but I mean, it's not so crammed that you can't see everything.
oh yeah,
it's just a lot.
If you take your time, you can see it.
Yep.
But,
yeah, I think at some point you guys are just gonna have to do a museum because look at it, it's incredible. Like you have the forklifts too.
Yep.
Right.
All types of forklifts, pallet lifts.
Wow. And then carriers for the trucks up top there.
Yeah.
And then these are just incredible. I don't even know if this is going to translate because I can't get it in one shot. But wow. This is just massive. Now, where do you get these? I mean, is this something that is super, super specialized?
Actually, this one here was custom made here in the United States. This link belt tower crane, and then this big white one in the back here is a D-Mag. That was made in Germany.
Okay.
And that weighs like 30-some pounds.
Holy. And you guys don't promote it as a museum, but I'll tell you what, it's a really beautiful thing to see, and it's very interesting. If if you're in the construction trade, you're going to recognize the vast majority of these, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these are you've either worked with or seen or.
That's what a lot of our customers are looking for, is that nowadays there's something that they've actually seen in the field or they're operating,
Right.
or it's in a contractor that owns that machine.
Now behind you, we've got what do we have there?
A lot of these
Tow trucks,
are
or?
1 to 34 scale with a company called First Gear,
Okay.
and so they're mostly vintage type trucks from
Okay.
the 60s, 70s.
Repros or from?
From new tooling. It was a market that hadn't been touched for quite some time. So this company started up probably 30 years ago now too.
That's great.
And they started producing all this stuff that hadn't been done before.
Wow, that's interesting. They're beautiful trucks, actually. And then you have the they look like delivery trucks up there. I see.
Yeah, all types of delivery trucks with different logos, beer, Pepsi, and
right. I see some older dump trucks as well.
Tow trucks.
Right, so car carriers and that's awesome.
Some things you don't hear of, like civil defense and.
Oh wow, you do. You have they are, yeah, right here, right in the middle. I'm looking at
blue
it
and
right now.
whites are civil
Yeah.
defense. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, cool.
And this is a fairly new range right here. These diecast masters are 1 to 50 scale trucks.
Okay. And then you have, are those horse carriers in the bottom? Or no? They're just vintage trucks. On the very last shelf?
This
I see moving and storage. And then
Moving, yep.
down on the bottom shelf here? Are those just semis?
this semis.
And
These
this guy, you have
here
some more
are
cranes and...
these are a lot of hand-built resin models. So instead of being in die cast, they're actually made out of resin, and they're hand-built. So all the parts are cast in like rubber molds.
Wow.
And then
So they're a lot more articulated? Or...
yeah, some of these models are very light, but very fragile.
I see. So this is almost don't touch on the shelf behind the
Right.
case.
Yeah.
Where the other ones, I'm not that you want to play with them, but the other ones you can at least the parts move authentically.
Yeah.
And
Die cast depends on how much detail you put into it. I mean, if you don't put a whole lot of detail in it, you can make them pretty rugged. Kids can play with them all day long and still not break them. But if you put a lot of mirrors and stuff like that in,
anything that's good,
then they're going to snap off. Yeah. Over time now, we've evolved more into the general hobby, you know, with some train sets,
Right.
Rockets.
And then the really big toy, the Brooder stuff, right? You have up top here.
Yeah, that takes up a lot of space. So that, but that's been pretty popular.
And so then you have your model planes here. Now these are real models, or are these die casts?
These are die cast. Even some very small airliners.
Wow. Yeah, those are cool, actually. I remember those when I came in the first time. You have a great book selection here, too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that are interested in the construction, they'll buy books on the construction equipment. Trucks, the same way. Fire vehicles.
So you're just backing up your product selection
Yeah.
to a degree, whether it's the collectible style book or more the history.
Some people like the historical aspects of
Right.
even the collecting, so they'll buy the books that match their interest in the equipment.
This is all train.
All train related.
Let me get a shot of that. This is awesome. So you have all the buildings and...
Yeah, both kits, and nowadays a lot of people like the built-ups.
Yep. But now the built-ups, the technology for the moldings, they're a lot better than they used to be, right? As far as the detail.
Oh yeah, the detail is
Oh, that's awesome.
is pretty good. I mean,
That's cool. And you've got all the buildings. And on the other side, do we have more, or is that planes?
this comes. Well, first our military section.
And these are all models,
You saw some military over on the other side, but this is all stuff that's all in boxes yet. So it's
And these are all pre-made die cast, or
a lot of this is pre-made die cast, and then we have the kits that you can build, both resin and plastic again.
Nice. So I see you have G.I. Joe too. You have some. Is that an actual model? That's not a doll, right?
Yeah, no, these are.
Oh, that's a doll.
That's a couple of dolls yet.
Nice. So this is totally the type of place too. You gotta come and you gotta forage.
Oh yeah,
You know,
we
this
get people that'll spend hours here and just go through everything, because this is all die-cast aircraft in here.
Wow.
All the way from small ones up to ones that are a couple foot wingspan.
Awesome. On the far wall, I see you have. Are those look like Hot Wheels? But is that my bad glasses?
That's a CQ brand out of Germany. They're based on real equipment, so a lot of collectors will still buy some of these, but they're more durable. And
so they can be played
so
with.
they can be played with.
Yeah, which is really cool, actually. And they're significantly more detailed than anything I grew up with, period. And then behind us here, you have more. Now these are the Ross. I see some of these. And the Cat. What manufacturer is that, the Cat?
This is Norscot through here.
Okay.
You know, a couple Ross pieces, but mostly Norscot.
So they're almost like a hybrid of a playable and collectible, because they look durable enough to play with for a kid, but you'd almost not want to.
Yeah, Norscot was kind of that way. Although they've graduated, the company that took them over now is called Diecast Masters, and their stuff is more geared towards the collector's end.
Okay. Yeah, because it does look.
them.
Yeah, it doesn't look quite as durable. Although it does, though. In a way.
Yeah, these would still be a little bit more durable, but the later ones are. They put more detail into it,
Right.
And it's.
And then behind you, is there anything in here that you didn't have represented in front? Or these? Well, these are trucks. These are more like a Peterbilt, that type of thing.
Yeah, well, a variety. There's a lot of European trucks in here too.
Okay.
Because we do sell outside the United States, we do sell a lot of European trucks too.
And then this wall is the wall of cars, right?
Yeah, this is what's very popular also is the 1/18 scale cars. So you've got...
Now, this is something for everybody. This
Yeah.
wall, right? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has a favorite car.
Yep.
And this is totally something that most guys, you could just nail their retirement car, the midlife crisis car, the car that they had when they were a kid.
If somebody comes in looking for a car for a gift, it's usually
In this wall.
In this wall.
That's the first thing I thought as soon as I
Yeah.
saw it. I was like, this pretty much speaks to every one of my friends.
Your
and myself.
57 Chevys would be in here. And
Really?
Yeah.
Everything, right? Wow. Oh, I see, because I see all the American muscle cars. That's
Yeah.
all my buddies in my neighborhood. That's what we did. They just souped up
60s and 70s muscle cars.
So you have Cougars and...
Cougars and
Barracudas.
Roadrunners and Mustangs. And
Nice. These are more construction vehicles,
Yep.
more play oriented, or...
more of the collector's oriented again.
Wow. Awesome. And then more trains I see behind you.
Yeah, this is our larger scale case here.
These are the O gauge.
O gauge. And
What's that gauge? That's not O.
that's G.
That's G. Oh, so that's G. Okay.
Yeah, from
So
here,
would that be-
here on down is G.
Is G for garden?
Yeah. And it's the wider gauge track, but
Do people, are those popular now? It would seem like it would be really expensive to...
actually it's the lower end sets are not so, they're not that expensive, 400 or 500 maybe, but
That's not bad.
but you can get certain locomotives that go way up, of
I
course.
see. And now I'm going to swing around real fast because we passed this, and this is more construction vehicles. But is this? They almost look like the same brand, are they?
Well, a lot of this is the ones that we have produced. This is
Oh,
our
these are
own-
yours?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you have a name for your line?
It's EMD,
Okay.
Engineering Model Development.
Oh, so this whole case is your...
Most of it. We've
Okay.
got a few other brands that are starting to trickle in here too. But
Oh, I remember.
kind of dark here, but there's some. Well, that's actually the farm equipment area.
Oh, yeah, we should totally touch on that. Again, some of these look retro from the mid-century, and some of them are new, but you have a wide variety of almost everything here.
Yeah.
Wow, and you've really got that. Is that a Matchbox? And that right there, the blue tractor?
That blue one
Yeah.
right there. Yep, that's a Matchbox. Yeah, you can see some of the early pieces were pretty simple, and then you go into something that's produced now, and you got all the hydraulic lines on it. And
Sure. What? These are tiny. What are
Yeah,
those?
you were asking about the N gauge and the Z
these are all
gauge.
N-gauge?
Well,
Wow.
most of what you see is N gauge.
Right.
But stuck down back in here, there's a few pieces of Z gauge also.
And now Z is significantly smaller than that even.
It is smaller, not a whole lot, but it is smaller.
Wow.
Um,
There's just something to me about the miniature. Like the smaller you get.
yeah,
You know.
I kind of like the Z gauge too because you see this
So tiny and
little
so
locomotive
detailed.
running around the track, and you
Yeah,
think,
it's
well,
just-
there's a motor in there and the
Yeah,
lights.
the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
So, but as we've gotten better manufacturing processes and technologies enabled all that to occur, that's where you start to see this gauge maybe find its own market, right?
Yeah.
And it's not so expensive anymore because the technology to produce it is a little cheaper probably as well.
Yeah. And that mining shovel is actually in scale too.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
even the figures around it and these vehicles are in scale. So
Well, because I think, and as a kid too, like if you step up to a train set and a layout that's that scale, you feel empowered.
Right.
So, like it's just that thing, you feel the giant. Is there anything behind you here? Magazines. So your business started with your dad. And when I first met you, this was a great story. So he started in his basement as a hobbyist, correct?
correct. He was one of the what we call old school. He would buy a model and had to be perfect and put it on the shelf,
kidding.
and that was it.
Was he dealing or was he just collecting?
Mostly collecting, and then we started getting surplus on some models, and he would trade off. So we'd go to some of the shows around the country, and he'd trade off some of his extra models for something
I
he didn't
see.
have.
So it totally just happened organically.
When he was collecting for quite a few years, and then in the late early 70s.
Mm.
These couple of companies in Germany called Conrad and NZG,
Mm-hmm.
they started producing the die-cast promotional construction machinery.
Okay.
And that's when he started collecting those.
So they were the predecessors to all of this, those
Yeah.
two companies.
Those
That's the
two
Germans, man.
Yeah.
They are just totally like that.
machinists. They came in late 60s and early 70s, and when my dad started collecting them. And then in 1978 is when this company that was originally bringing this Conrad and NZG stuff in, they decided to quit. They said there wasn't a big enough market, so they were going to quit.
Mm.
So we actually bought out the rest of their stock.
But you're doing still, right?
Yeah.
So your dad taught you well, right?
And then we went to Germany, talked
Okay.
to these two manufacturers, and we started importing them.
So now you were hand typing, like a catalog or just like a bullet list of your stock?
Just a bullet. We didn't have much stock at that time, so it was one page. We'd send out a flyer.
Oh, that's awesome. Send it out snail mail.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That's all there was back then.
Yeah. So, and then that's when the business started.
It wasn't until late 82 when I got out of school that I started going to more shows, sending out more lists, and that's when it.
So you really started the business, in a way. Like you were the catalyst behind taking it from
from a hobby to a business.
Yeah. And still running out of the basement though in the family house.
Oh yeah,
Right?
We had a desk in the basement.
That's so cool.
Did all the work and then packed the shipping cartons on top of the washing machine, and
I love that stuff. So you're out of college now. You're doing that for a couple of years, and the business continues to grow.
Yep.
Did you start producing real catalogs at one point, or?
Yeah. Well, real catalog. Yeah, it was.
It was still hand typed, or
still
it was photocopied.
Hand typed and photocopied, and
that's awesome. A decade goes by then, right? So you graduate college, you don't really have the business, it's kind of just happening. Like your dad would still send out his little lists, or was that just you?
That was me.
So you were just, when you weren't there, your dad would just have the product and not really move it.
Yeah, there really wasn't no action at that point.
So you come along, you graduate, you start doing the trade shows, you start doing all the lists and the mailers, you start seeing this business grow, and then I'm sure the list graduated to somewhat, like I said, of a zine catalog. And the catalog grew, but you're still in the basement.
Yep.
So when did you move out of the basement to your first shop, and what was the catalyst? Were you buried in that basement?
Yeah, we had stuff all through the basement. It was almost like the shop here. You had to wind your
it's like a
way through
hamster
aisles.
trail.
Yeah.
So, and then you're like, well, we need a space. Now, where did you go for that first space? It wasn't here.
It was here.
Oh, it was here.
Yeah.
So you went right from there to here.
Yep.
So now you have your construction vehicles, you have your store, and that's your core, right? This is your core market. Now, when did you start expanding through like the other lines that you carry?
Other manufacturers came in. Well, even some of the ones like the Conrad and NGG to start with, they were also doing some fire trucks and cars and stuff like that.
Man, you didn't have any of the emergency vehicles at the time, any of that stuff, right?
Well, we would, because they were producing it, we did stock that type of stuff too. So that's kind of what started expanding it into other types of brands. Oh, well, if we're carrying these fire trucks are selling, let's get this other brand that's mostly fire trucks.
You've written books, and we didn't talk about that yet, but you have how many books now, 2?
We've done 5 books.
Oh, you've done 5. Wow. What was your first book?
Well, actually, I'm just the publisher.
Oh, so did your brother write them?
Nope. We get authors to do them.
Oh, you do? That's smart.
And we've got an author out in Las Vegas that does the heavy haulage type books. And we got another guy that does a company called Northwest Engineering.
Okay.
It's an older company made the real equipment that went out of business. And he's done 2 books. We're on our 3rd one with him.
That's awesome.
And then we did a book on International Harvester, a big brand name,
right?
With another author, and we're working on another book with him on Alice Chalmers.
Wow.
So, and then we've got some other books still in the works.
Really?
Too.
And what's the name of the publishing company?
We just use EMD Publishing.
Yeah, and so the EMD is the name of the brand too that you guys produce. You have these beautiful construction vehicles, and you produce those. How do you choose what to produce? Is that literally like your own personal interest, or is that something where
More personal interest.
yeah, you just want to see it? You don't write the books, but you must have knowledge that needs to get passed on.
Yeah, well, we
Right.
do, the books that we do also have a segment in there on models.
So that's
That's where we
come into play.
we do that segment.
Right.
But as far as on the real equipment, we have somebody else that's an expert that.
Now,
writes
do
that
you
book.
do? So if I